Thank you, sir. The Honourable Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable Cabinet Ministers.
I was just going to give you.
Oh, sorry, sir.
But do you have it?
You might call Balas, then forget me, sir.
No, you've beaten me to the draw like you always do. You have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to give my full support to the 2022-23 national budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, first and foremost, I must thank the Honourable Attorney General and Minister for Economy, together with his team, for preparing a budget that does not only fill resilience, but provides a platform for all Fijians for the road to economic recovery. Allow me to also thank the Honourable Moses Mbulitabu, Honourable Naunu Batua Mere, and the Honourable Aseri for their contribution, giving their heart out with their mind and the support. And I think credit should be given when it's due. And I thank them for that. So this budget is very deserving for all Fijians because it is structured with a vision to strengthen support for individual families, providing a safety net for our senior citizens, providing equal opportunities for students with education and opportunities, cementing the aim of ensuring economic stability and growth, and many more. Mr. Speaker, sir, given the nature of the impacts of the two global crises, such as the COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war, we as a nation demonstrated persistency throughout the course of the obstacles and the difficulties. But one thing is clear, Mr. Speaker, sir, the budget echoed a very strong message that even in the darkest days of crisis, or crisis of our economy, Fiji would not recover, would not just recover, but it would emerge from the pandemic with pace and resilience. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is truly empowering that we fought together and moved together as a nation. With the decisive leadership of our Honourable Prime Minister, he has put in place a government to trust, to put our hopes and confidence in. Additionally, sir, I know that the Honourable Prime Minister knows where he is taking us, and for us as follows, we know that he is leading us to a better future. Mr. Speaker, sir, similar to the 40 years Moses led the Israelites, God had his promise to always be with him. And in Fiji, God kept and anointed our Honourable Prime Minister with the vision of equality, harmony, unity, and modernity by building a fair and just society for all Fijians. I can confidently say in this August chamber that the course of direction that was started by Honourable PM was not altered and neither disturbed, but it remained steady till today. And Mr. Speaker, sir, this is the kind of leadership that Fiji needs. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2020-2023 budget has been well crafted with the tremendous support and participation of the Fijian people. The true Fijian spirit of never giving up in the face of adversity has propelled us to the road of recovery. Mr. Speaker, sir, the payout of assistance under the inflation mitigation package is not a handout or a freebie, as most of the opposition members are indicating. However, it is targeted, useful resource to ease the struggles of every individual family to provide more food on the table. For example, the $180 per child for the next 6 months, $180 payout for government pensioners, $180 aftercare fund, $180 for social welfare recipients, $180 for all tertiary students, and bus fare subsidy for 10% across the board. Mr. Speaker, sir, we also note that the existing incentives and subsidies that will continue for the next financial year. The removal of the VAT from the expanded list of 21 essential items, the continuous subsidies such as the direct subsidy of water and electricity, bus fares, the removal of market vendors' fees, and many more. Mr. Speaker, sir, these targeted resources are strategies that will address inflation. Reacting to the Bible scripture in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 9, you parents, if your children ask for a loaf of bread, do you give him a stone instead? Mr. Speaker, sir, most certainly not. As we parents will provide provide for whatever need from our children. Therefore, the basic metaphor for this verse is that a human father would not refuse a basic desire for his son. So God too would not refuse a basic need for one of his followers. Similarly, through this promising compassionate budget, the Fijian government will not turn a blind eye to the struggles of the very Fijian, but it will make every means to make the struggles of everybody a priority. Mr. Speaker, sir, I lend my full support and appreciation on the introduction of the new scholarship scheme known as the Skills Qualification. Sir, such a scheme is very rewarding because it will provide a platform for every student, irrespective of their background or geographical setting, with opportunity to afford higher skill education. Mr. Speaker, sir, what a beauty with this scheme. There is a Chinese proverb which says, if you give a man a fish, he'll be hungry tomorrow. But if you teach a man to fish, he'll be richer forever. And it is in the proverb that the skills qualification scheme will be the right tool to empower, give students an occupation that will feed them for over a lifetime. Mr. Speaker, sir, after the launch of the ministry's 10-year strategic development plan last year, it was provided that the way towards transforming rural areas to be resilient, productive, and sustainable, it is with the ambition that the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and Disaster Management is grateful for its budget allocation of $15 million. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry will continue to utilize the funds allocated to the self-help program, community access roads, footpaths, foot bridges, high priority water, and high priority sanitation to implement projects aimed to benefit the communities in the rural and maritime areas in Fiji. And with the forward-looking vision, we want to build up the rural economy to be a transitional pillar in meeting the central efforts of reducing poverty and increasing economic growth. Mr. Speaker, sir, $2 million is budgeted for the next financial year to cater for the community access roads, footpaths, and footbridges. Though there isn't a change in the allocated budget, the Ministry is confident that it will continue to place more importance in opening up greater opportunities for the rural and maritime communities, such as roads and community access. Mr. Speaker, sir, by saying this, we want to provide assistance by not only improving accessibility for the communities, but particularly for the children. Sir, the Fijian government is doing this so that we can help these children from walking several hours and even crossing creeks and rivers just to get to their school. Mr. Speaker, sir, to enlighten this august chamber, for the past 3 years, the Ministry implemented 278 projects with a total cost of over $6 million. On average, 31% projects were implemented each year, which is equivalent to 86 new projects. These projects were the strategies to improve communities' access to services, maintaining the safety of all Fijians with the exclusive disability, with an inclusive disability and older persons friendly accessibility, improving productivity and maintaining the higher socio-economic quality with the aim to alleviate the struggles of all Fijians. Mr. Speaker, sir, the self-help program is one of the key capital programs under the ministry to ensure communities have sustainable living standards and providing sustainable growth through resilience communities. Therefore, in the next financial year, the ministry has been allocated with a budget of $1 million for this program. Mr. Speaker, sir, looking at the past 3 years, the ministry implemented 411 projects with a total cost of approximately $5 million. With all these development projects, the ministry has witnessed the community's improvement to access clean and safe drinking water, proper sanitation facilities, better and affordable access to trading centers, and improvement in the standard of living. Mr. Speaker, sir, to fulfill the constitutional rights of all Fijians in accessing quality and safe drinking water with adequate quantities in all rural areas, the ministry comments the additional budget allocation for $300,000 towards the high priority water and sanitation. The total of $800,000 for the next fiscal year will be consistent support to meeting the global efforts in ensuring the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation to benefit all Fijians. Mr. Speaker, sir, furthermore, under the Ministry's public sector investment programs, PSIP, government has now extended the reach of its services to the rural communities through strategically placed government stations to serve the provinces and districts throughout remote rural communities in Fiji. This would include the establishment of a new government station and yet to be commissioned in rural remote areas such as Namarai, Inra, Wainokoro in Maduata, as well as the construction of the new government quarters duplex in Kumlau in Mbua. About 14,000 Fijians from more than 3,000 households from the surrounding villages and settlements near the government stations are expected to benefit from the implementation of these projects. Mr. Speaker, sir, the final payment of these projects will be available in this new financial year 2022-23 before they are ready for commissioning. Such a development is a testimony of government intention of ensuring that every Fijian in our rural communities are able to access our services at their doorstep. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the recent months, there has been an increase in collaboration with key state agencies to prepare the ministry in improving its planning for inclusive rural development implementation of programs. A pilot project is currently being sampled at Wainilotulevu and Nasongo village in the district of Vinunga in the province of Namosi. These two communities have been identified as vulnerable communities who have just been accessed by road this financial year, 2021-2022, and the integrated government approach would be the dawn of a new era in the whole of government approach in uplifting the livelihoods of all Fijians. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, partnership and collaboration with other government ministries, the private sector, civil society organizations, and development partners are going to be at the heart of these new radical transformations in the rural areas. The old Fijian custom of solidarity, meaning community collaboration, is so important at the national level, as it is an eternal approach which is even more needed in today's context. Through such incentives and collaborations, not only do we ensure that we develop a culture of resilience, productivity and sustainability in development in rural areas, but more importantly, that we are united in tackling today's ever-changing global challenge together as Fijians. Mr. Speaker, sir, This strategic, inclusive, and integrated approach is rural development is in line with the government vision to build a better Fiji for us all and leaving no one behind, especially post-COVID-19. The Ministry is forever optimistic and more determined than ever to spread positive change in this new journey ahead, for we can only achieve much if we unite in this August Parliament, if all civil servants are united and all Fijians are united. Mr. Speaker, I fully lend my support towards the 2022-2023 budget.